Hello and welcome to EC Electronics. So we are going to discuss about transmission lines in this video. This is a very important topic in electromagnetic theory. Actually, what is transmission lines? We are going to see about what is transmission line, how can we represent this transmission line in a network form, that is connection of various components, what are the various equations of voltage and current equations, its differential equations, and how the solutions are. And also we'll be seeing about the characteristic impedance, the load impedance, how the matching, that is what is actually this matching, what is reflection coefficient, what is voltage standing wave ratio, and also we'll be seeing what is impedance matching and how it can be implemented. Okay, so we are going to see all those things in this video. So this is a very important video if you are preparing for GATE exams or ISRO exam. Transmission line means it is a specialized cable, can be a coaxial cable or anything. It can be used for transmitting of, that is these cables are actually used for transmitting of alternating current or AC at radio frequency. Okay, so these currents to transmit at radio frequency we use transmission line. Generally the frequency of operation is between 50 to 60 gigahertz. Anyway, it should be greater than 5 gigahertz. That is the frequency of operation, and also they are generally used for short distance transmission only, because as a frequency is increasing there is a lot of chances to have more losses in the transmission line. So they are generally used for short distances only. And if you represent a transmission line in a connection of basic components of the electronics or in a network form, you can represent it like this. So it would be having a voltage and the current on one side and also in the other side. So these are the two ends of the transmission line, and there is a resistive component, an inductive component, a conductance, and a capacitance. So all these elements are used to represent a transmission line in a network form. Okay, and we can derive the voltage and the current equations in terms of these basic components. So these components will actually make effect in the voltage and the current, right? So we can represent, that is we can write the voltage equation and the current equation in terms of this component. Okay, so first this is the voltage equation. So this will be the on this side the voltage is VZT, and here it is VZ plus DZT. Okay, so this is the transmission line in the Z direction. We are transmitting the wave in the Z direction. So the change in voltage will be VZ plus DZT minus VZT by DZ. That is the voltage change, and also there will be a voltage drop across this resistive component and this inductive component. So we have to take both that. So R dash into the current flowing is IZT. So R dash IZ comma T plus the voltage drop across the inductance is L dash DIZT by dt. Okay, so this is the voltage drop across the inductance is equal to 0. So this is the first one is the voltage equation for this particular transmission line. Okay, that is a voltage difference plus the voltage difference between these two sides and the voltage drop, the sum of the voltage drop across the inductance and the resistance. Okay, so that is the voltage equation. And the current equation, we know that current is same in the series connection, and current will get split across the parallel components, which are the conductance and the capacitance. Okay, so we have to take into consideration this conductance and the capacitance. So the current equation is IZ plus DZT minus IZT. So in this end the current is IZ plus DZT. So IZ plus DZT minus IZT by DZ, then plus across these parallel components the current is that is for conductance, this for this element the current passing through it is G dash VZT, the voltage drop across it, plus C dash dVZT by dt is equal to 0. Okay, so this is a basic voltage drop equation across the capacitance and for conductance element. Okay, so this is the current equation for this transmission line. You don't need to study these equations, you just have to know the solutions of these equations, only that much is required. Okay, so just for your understanding I'm saying that this is how the voltage equation and the current equation is coming. And you can also if you put the limit dz to 0, and if you take the a very small section of the transmission line, you can actually replace this equation by these two equations, that is dou vz t by dou z plus r dash I z of t, this is r, okay, I z of t plus L dash dou I z t by dou t is equal to 0, and also the current equation will be changed as dou I z t by dou z plus J dash V z t plus C dash dou V z t by dou t is equal to 0. Okay, we have just changed this difference as dou V z of t and also here dou I z of t, and we have replaced this d by dt by dou t. Okay. Now the most important part is this solutions of this equations. We'll get solution for voltage and current. That is, we'll get the value or the representation for Vz of t and Iz of t, which is the most important part of this discussion. So Vz of t is equal to V plus e raised to j omega t minus gamma z plus V minus e raised to j omega t plus gamma z. Okay, so this voltage equation, if you take, you can see there is a V plus component and a V minus component. Okay, so this indicates that the voltage is actually the sum of the wave moving in the forward direction and the wave coming in the backward direction. Okay, so that is the indication of this particular solution. So you can say that the solution is the sum of forward traveling wave in the plus z direction and the backward traveling wave in the minus z direction. If you take this particular equation, V plus is the amplitude of voltage wave traveling in forward direction and V minus is the amplitude of the voltage wave traveling in the reverse or the backward direction. And here this is the current solution or the value of current. Iz of t is equal to I plus into e raised to j omega t minus gamma z plus I minus e raised to minus of j omega t plus gamma z. Here also this current or the total current is a sum of forward traveling current plus the backward traveling current waves. Okay, so this is the equation for voltage wave and this is the equation for current wave. Now here you can see there is a gamma. Gamma is the propagation constant. Omega is the angular frequency. Okay, so these are the two unknown terms. Gamma is a propagation constant and omega is angular frequency. We'll discuss more about gamma later. Okay, so this is the representation of voltage and current equations of the transmission line, or in terms of a network you can represent the transmission line just like this. Okay, next we are going to discuss very important concepts of characteristic impedance and propagation constant. Okay, first we'll see about characteristic impedance. Now what is characteristic impedance of a transmission line? We always whenever we do numerical questions and all, we'll be given the characteristic impedance, or we need to sometimes find the characteristic impedance. Okay, so what is this characteristic impedance? So Z0 is equal to, which is a characteristic impedance general notation, is equal to V plus by I plus, that is the forward traveling voltage wave by forward traveling current wave. This plus always indicates in electromagnetic theory is always indicating the forward traveling wave, and minus indicates the reflected wave or the wave traveling in the reverse direction. Okay, and if this is the case for forward traveling voltage and current waves, the characteristic impedance can be written in terms of the backward traveling waves, that is voltage wave to current wave also, that is minus of V minus by I minus, where V minus is the backward traveling voltage wave and I minus is the backward or the reflected current wave. In terms of the basic components of the transmission line, you can write the characteristic impedance as square root of R dash plus j omega L dash by G dash plus j omega C dash. Okay, so this dash is just the value of resistance. You don't need to put the dash also. Just put the value of resistance, inductance, conductance and capacitance. So this is a very, very important equation for the characteristic impedance of the transmission line in terms of the elements of the transmission line when represented in a network form. Now let us discuss about lossless transmission line and distortionless transmission line. What is a lossless transmission line? Lossless transmission line means there is no ohmic and dielectric loss. That is the meaning of lossless. Okay, there is no ohmic loss means there is no loss across the ohm means resistance, right? So there is no resistance loss and there is no loss across the dielectric. Okay, so there is no dielectric loss and there is no ohmic loss. So this ohmic loss, if there is no ohmic loss, the value of R is put as 0. And when there is no dielectric loss means here G is the conductance of, just note that D is the conductance of the dielectric of transmission line. Okay, so when there is no dielectric loss means the conductance of the dielectric is also taken as 0. Okay, so if these two things are hard to remember, just remember that R is equal to 0 and G is equal to 0 if the line is a lossless transmission line. Okay, so if you put here R is equal to 0 and G is equal to 0, what will be getting? These two terms will remain, right? J omega L by J omega C. J omega cancels and you will get L dash by C, or you can simply write it as L by C also. So this is the equation for characteristic impedance of a lossless transmission line. This is very, very important in doing problems. Okay, so please note this down. Characteristic impedance of a lossless transmission line is square root of L dash by C dash. Now for the case of a distortionless line, what do you mean by a distortionless line? Here the phase varies linearly with frequency and the attenuation, there is a magnitude of attenuation, is frequency independent. Such a line is called distortionless line. That is, if the attenuation, even though attenuation is happening, it is independent of frequency means you can call the line as distortionless line. And the condition for distortionless transmission line is given by, here this ratio will be equal to this, or this fraction L dash R dash by L dash is equal to G dash by C dash will be the relation for a distortionless line. Sometimes in the question it will be given that for a distortionless transmission line, you need to find the characteristic impedance or what is the criteria, or check whether it is a distortionless line. You have to check for this equality. R dash by L dash should be equal to G dash by C dash. The characteristic impedance is given by square root of R dash by G dash, or is equal to square root of L dash by C dash. These are the equations for finding the characteristic impedance of distortionless line. Now let us discuss about the propagation constant. Now the propagation constant, we have already talked about it. It is represented as gamma is equal to alpha plus j beta. Here alpha is the attenuation constant and beta is the phase constant. Okay, so these are the two alpha and beta terms present in the propagation constant gamma. Now the value of beta is equal to, you can find beta by using the relation beta is equal to 2 pi by lambda, where lambda is the wavelength, or in terms of frequency and the permeability and permittivity, you can write it as is equal to beta is equal to 2 pi f square root of mu epsilon. And in terms of the components of your transmission line, you can write the propagation constant gamma is equal to square root of R dash G dash into 1 plus j omega C dash by G dash. This is the propagation constant equation in terms of the elements of a transmission line. Okay, so this is the characteristic impedance general equation for a lossless line, for a distortionless line, and this is the propagation constant. These are very, very important equations. Next we are going to discuss about the voltage reflection coefficient and about voltage standing wave ratio. I've done a separate video on voltage standing wave ratio, so I'll link that in the description. Okay, so voltage reflection coefficient. First, let us see a transmission line which is having a characteristic impedance of Z0 and a load resistance or load impedance of ZL. How can you write load impedance? It can be written as voltage by current, right? Now, in terms of the forward and the reflected wave, you can write, there is a voltage and the current waves. You can write this V by I as V plus plus V minus by I plus minus I minus, where V plus is the forward traveling voltage wave, V minus is a reflected wave, I plus is the forward current wave, and I minus is a reflected wave. Now, you can write this also, you can write in terms of this voltage wave. So, you will be getting ZL is equal to V plus plus V minus by V plus minus V minus into Z0. Now, what is the reflection coefficient? Reflection coefficient tau, it is denoted by tau, is the magnitude of reflected wave, which is a V minus, by the incident wave or the forward traveling wave, V plus. It is V minus by V plus. From this relation, we can take the value of V minus by V plus is equal to ZL minus Z0 by ZL plus Z0, where ZL is the load impedance, Z0 is the characteristic impedance of the transmission line. Now, so these equations are very important. Okay, so this equation and these equations are very important. Now, let us move on to the voltage standing wave ratio. So, the voltage standing wave, how these voltage standing waves are generated, I have explained in much detail in that video. So, I'll be sharing the link in description. Okay. Anyway, voltage standing wave ratio is a ratio of maximum voltage in the transmission line to the minimum voltage in the transmission line. And in terms of the reflection coefficient tau, you can represent it as 1 plus mod tau by 1 minus mod tau, where tau is the reflection coefficient. Okay. So, this is the relation for finding the voltage standing wave ratio. Next, we are going to see about the input impedance of the transmission line. Consider that Zn is the input impedance, Z0 is a characteristic impedance, and Za is the load impedance. Okay, so the equation for input impedance in terms of the length of the transmission line L, beta, and this Za and Z0 is given by Zin minus L is equal to Z0 into Za plus J Z0 tan beta L by Z0 plus J Za tan beta L. Okay, so beta is the phase constant, Za is the load impedance, Z0 is a characteristic impedance, L is the length of the transmission line. Now, if you substitute L is equal to lambda by 4, that is, if the transmission line is a quarter wave transmission line, that means if its length is equal to lambda or wavelength by 4, and beta is equal to 2 pi by lambda, right? Anyway, the equation or the value for beta is 2 pi by lambda. So, if you substitute this L is equal to lambda by 4 in this equation, you will be getting the input impedance is equal to characteristic impedance square by load impedance, that is Z0 square by Za. Now, let us consider when the transmission line is short circuited and when it is open circuited, what is the variation in the input impedance and admittance. For short circuit, we know that when a unit is short circuited, the impedance is equal to 0. Za will be equal to 0 now. So, Zin will be equal to minus J Z0 tan beta L. You have to substitute Za 0 here. Okay. And Y that is admittance is equal to minus J cot beta L by Z0. Now, for the case of open circuit, Za will be infinity. That is, the load impedance will be infinity. And input impedance Zin is equal to minus J Z0 cot beta L, and admittance, input admittance is equal to J tan beta L by Z0. So, this is how the input impedance varies when the line is open circuited or short circuited at the load side. The next topic that we are going to see is impedance matching. Okay, so before going into impedance matching, what is actually a matched line? So, I have given in red box, it is for matched line, the input impedance is equal to the characteristic impedance of the transmission line, and that is again in turn equal to the load impedance or the impedance of the load. Okay. Also, we have discussed about the input impedance for open circuit and closed circuit, for short circuit we have seen previously. So the characteristic impedance you can write in terms of this open circuit impedance and short circuit impedance as characteristic impedance Z0 is equal to square root of Z in open into Z in short. Okay, so these equations are also very important. Now let us see what is impedance matching. Now whenever we are connecting this transmission line to a load with some load impedance, due to this mismatch of the load impedance and the characteristic impedance of the transmission line, there will be some reflections and there will be some losses happening at the load side. Okay, so due to in order to avoid this reflections or these losses due to the impedance mismatch of the transmission line and the load, we use impedance matching techniques. Okay, so we are going to see two impedance matching techniques here. The first one is quarter wave transformer type of impedance matching technique, and this one is single stub matching. Okay, so these are the two type of impedance matching techniques which you can use to match the impedance, which is the characteristic impedance of the transmission line and the load impedance. Okay, so what is a quarter wave transformer type of impedance matching technique? Here, this technique is generally used for matching either the resistive load of a transmission line or matching two resistive loads. That is, it can be either a transmission line here and a load here, or it can be also used to match two resistive loads, one resistive load here and one load here, and also it can be also used to match the unequal characteristic impedance of two transmission line. That means you can connect a transmission line here and another transmission line here. If the two transmission lines are having two different characteristic impedance and you want to match it, means you can use this technique. So for these three methods or for these three uses, we can use this quarter wave transformer type of impedance matching. Here the characteristic impedance of the transformer is ZOX, is represented using the ZOX, and if you are using a quarter wave transformer, means the length of this section will be lambda by 4. Okay, so this lambda by 4 transformer inverts the normalized impedance. Okay, and you can so if you are using a lambda by 4 transformer, that is a quarter wave, means a wavelength by 4 will be the length of this transformer section. So if a lambda by 4 or a quarter wave transformer is used, it inverts the normalized impedance. Okay, so this ZA, which is the impedance seen from this point A towards this side. Okay, and the impedance seen from A is equal to 1 by R by ZOX into ZOX, where ZOX is the characteristic impedance of your quarter wave transformer, R is the load impedance, and that is the impedance seen from A to this direction. Its arrow is given, is equal to ZOX square by R. So and you have to match this with the characteristic impedance, right? That is, the impedance seen from this direction should be equal to the rest of the impedance, which is Z0. Okay, so you have to equate this with Z0. That is, you have to match this much of impedance with the characteristic impedance. Only then the impedance matching will take place. The impedance till this point should be equal to the remaining point. That is a function of this impedance matching. Okay, so your ZOX square by R should be equal to characteristic impedance of the line. So equating these two, you will be getting ZOX square by R is equal to Z0. So from that you will be getting ZOX, or the characteristic impedance of the line, is equal to square root of R Z0. So while selecting a quarter wave transformer, you have to set its characteristic impedance is equal to square root of R Z0 in order to have impedance matching. That is a concept. Okay, so our aim is to make the impedance of till this portion, that is the portion towards this, equal to the remaining portion, right? For that we are placing a quarter wave transformer here, and we are going to write the equation for the impedance from this point towards this load, and the equation is obtained as ZOX square by R, and it is equal to the characteristic impedance, and while equating this we will be getting the characteristic impedance is equal to square root of R Z0, where R is the load impedance and Z0 is the characteristic impedance of the transmission line which we are using. Okay, so this is the impedance matching using quarter wave transformer technique. Now, what is single step matching of type of impedance matching? In a single step matching, a stub is a short circuited section of a transmission line connected in parallel to the main transmission line. So we are actually connecting a sub transmission line here. You can see it here. This is the stub. Okay, that is actually a transmission line which is connected to the main one. This is the main one. Okay. Now a stub of appropriate length is placed at some distance from the load such that the impedance seen beyond the stub is equal to the characteristic impedance. That is, the impedance seen after this portion should be equal to the characteristic impedance of the line. That is a function of placing this stub. Okay, that is our function of impedance matching, right? So when this is impedance matched, there won't be any reflections after the portion where you have placed the stub. Okay, and here you can see there is yi, that is a admittance. So the input admittance is now actually getting splitted across this stub also. Okay, and the remaining is passing on to the yb. So you have to select the length of the stub in such a way that impedance matching is taking place. Okay, so this is called single step matching. You are placing a single parallel transmission line along with your main transmission line. So you are placing this transmission line, which is called stub, in parallel with the main transmission line such that the whatever mismatch is present, it will go towards this stub portion. Okay, so that is the concept of single step matching. So these are the important topics you have to cover while studying the transmission line topic. You have to study what is characteristic impedance, what is load impedance, what is the representation of the transmission line in terms of various elements like capacitance, resistance, inductance and conductance. How can you write the characteristic and that is the impedance of the transmission line in terms of these components? What is the different type of transmission lines? What is lossless one? What is distortionless one? How the characteristic impedance of these different lines is actually varying based on this variation in the components, based on their properties. So all these things are very important, and also the impedance matching. What is reflections? What is reflection coefficient, VSWR, and the open circuit, short circuit impedances for there is the input impedance for open circuit and short circuit load, and how the characteristic impedance is varying according to this. So all these things are very important if you're preparing for this competitive examination. So I really hope that you found this video useful. If you're preparing for GATE exams especially, and also for technical assistant examinations of ISRO and any competitive examinations. So if you found it useful, please do give it a thumbs up, and also do share this video with maximum of friends. And if you want more videos, please do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and keep on watching.